Hello everyone, good morning to all, and I welcome you all to the session today. So I hope yesterday we already had given you the introduction how you can access our ExcelR dashboard. So I'll give you again an idea for your reference. Okay, so I'll just take only 5 minutes of your time and we'll give you the introduction how you can access our ExcelR dashboard. Okay, so team, I think all of you have registered for our ExcelR everyday learning programs. So we would already have given you the access for the dashboard and you would have already given access to the classroom as well. Okay, if anybody did not receive it, you may register to our program using the registration link, or else you can drop an email to edl@excelr.com. Okay, our team is going to give you the access. Okay, team. So yeah, I'll quickly share my screen and give you the things. I hope my screen is visible to you, right? Can anybody confirm me on the same?
Yes, it is visible, Leah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for the confirmation. So, team, you would have received a mail from onlinelearning@excelr.com saying that welcome to ExcelR. Please verify your email. The first mail you would have received is this. So, when you open this email, you may see a URL here. If you can click on this URL, it will let you know, or else it will direct you to a page where you can set your password. Okay, the page would visible like this. So you have to set your password in order to access the dashboard. Okay, once you have set up your password, okay, I'll let you know that as well. If you can come to this website onlinelearning.excelr.com, once you have set up your password, if you can click on this sign in, you may see a dialog box over here. So what you have to do is you have to give your registered email. I'm giving my email since I have the access. And the password which I have set for my account. Okay. So once I log into the dashboard, the view is like this. You may see the home tab at first. So you have registered for this Python for data science EDL program, right? So in the today's session, every day whenever the session is going to be happen, you will see the session invitation here in the today's session tab. Python for data science EDL program day 2. When you click on this join meeting, you will be redirected to Zoom platform. You can join the session from dashboard in this way. The first way is you can join from today's session, and I'll show you the second way how you can join the session. Okay, so the Python for data science EDL program is the program which is going on now. So if you click on this arrow button in your home tab, you will see these two things, curriculum and meet. So what does this curriculum means? This curriculum consists of all the materials which are going to be teach you in the training process, and all the recordings available for this program. You may access the materials and recordings in this curriculum tab. I'll let you know a moment later. And when you click on this meet, you see everyday schedule here. Suppose today is 17th May, right? So for today, the schedule is day 2 Python for data science EDL program. If you come tomorrow, that is 18th May, you see day 3 schedule. So every day you can join the session in this meet tab or else in the today's session tab. Okay, if you can click on this join meeting, you will be redirected to Zoom platform where our trainer is giving you the training. And if you are not redirected to this Zoom platform, you may view the YouTube live recording as well. We have been streaming this training. You can view the YouTube also. And when you come to this curriculum, as I said, all the materials and recordings are available here. So if you click on this start button, You will see every day whatever day has happened. You will see the schedules like this. Yesterday, day one, right? So if you click on this day one, the YouTube video will be available here for your reference. You may view the recording. And yesterday, whatever the trainer has taught you, the material is available here. You can refer this material. Okay, you can view all the sizes. If you can click on this, all the pages will come here. You can adjust this. Okay, and you can go for fit size or full screen. This is how you can access these materials and the recordings. Okay, for day 2, for today, the live is going on, right? If you are unable to join the Zoom platform, you can view the live YouTube from here itself, or else you can go to our YouTube ExcelR channel, and if you can go for the live streaming, you may see the recording every day, or you may see the live every day. Okay, and also for today, the material is available here. So whenever our trainer is going to give you the materials, we will upload here, and as well as practice files or spreadsheets, everything will be uploaded day wise. You can refer those materials and recordings, you can practice by your own. Okay, this is how you can access our ExcelR dashboard, materials and recordings. And coming to the attendance, the very first tab is attendance link. Okay, why we ask you to submit your attendance in the sense we will give you the participation certificate who has acquired 60% of attendance for this Python for data science training program. So whenever you attend this program, do submit your attendance. We will keep a track of it and we will give you the certificate. Okay, so this attendance link is active in between 1:30 to 2:30. So I always we will remind you by the time, and we will put the link in the chat window, or else you can come to the dashboard and you can submit the attendance here itself. So team, we always would request you to give your response using this link in order to process your participation certificate. And this is how you can access our ExcelR dashboard. If you have any questions regarding this access, or if you have not received any kind of mails from us regarding this LMS registration or LMS dashboard access, kindly drop an email to edl@excelr.com. We will be giving you the access. Okay, thank you team, that's all from my end, and wish you all the best team. Thank you Neha, over to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Leela. Good morning to everyone. So, Leela, just before that, can you please check the video of yesterday? Because I got a message saying that the video which was uploaded from yesterday's session, it does not have
Yes.
any voice or anything. It's just showing one PPT. So, if you can check that, so that would be helpful.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry, team. That due to technical issues, we were not able to upload that. Today, by the end of the day, the yesterday video recording will be available in your dashboard and as well as in the YouTube channel.
Okay, okay, perfect. So, and that would be great if you can share the YouTube channel link also over here with everyone.
Sure, Neha. We'll do it.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. So with that, let's start it. I hope I am audible to everybody, and let me share my screen real quick. I hope my screen is visible. Okay. Is it visible, right? Can somebody please confirm?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Okay, perfect. So I got several messages to just give a quick recap. So let's start with the recap. So let's say if somebody was not able to join or whoever joined, but it's always good to just a quick recap of whatever we learned yesterday. Okay, so as you all are aware that this is the Python for data science course for 14 days, right? And what all we are going to learn in this series is we will be learning what is Python, how do we install, what are different IDEs available, for Python, what are different data types, what are different data structures, how do we, load the data, how do we read the data. We will also understand how do we analyze the data using Python. So all of you might be hearing these buzzwords, that data analyst, data scientist. So what they do exactly, that is what we will be learning throughout. Okay, but that those session will be towards the end, because to in order to go over there we have to be first should not have knowledge about what is data type, what is different kind of data types, how do we deal with them, what is Python, what is class in Python, what is function. So we will be learning all these things in bits and pieces, and then we will assemble everything together to see how these guys work on the data. Okay. So as we quickly discussed, right, like why Python is booming. So we know that it is a very simple language, because of its popularity, because of a wide variety of standard libraries available, because Python is easy to use, and it is open source, it is available to everybody can use it for free. So that's why its network is really huge, right, because of these few reasons. And now when the network is used, so what happen is the community who is developing this Python and different library and different function is really huge. And now what happen is whenever somebody develops, in fact you can develop something, and if you feel that function is not available in library, you can actually upload it. There is a repository called GitHub. Okay, it is like you can think of like a WhatsApp or a Facebook. Jaise ki you guys upload your images, your videos, your audios, right? Similarly you can upload your code, so that you can share it with everybody, you can make it public, so anybody will should be able to access the code. And that's why it is so popular. Okay. And it's easy to debug. So as you can see, 30% of the time of the market total coding share is occupied by Python, as compared to other language C++, right? Now we discussed how do we install Python. So it's very easy. All these steps are there in the material, so I'm not gonna go over it again. So basically you just have to go over here, click on this link, and here you can find download for Windows. Similarly you will find download for other Mac OS, you can see other Linux also, you can see whatever operating system you have, depending on 32-bit or 64-bit, you can download the compatible one, and you can get the Python installed in your system. So you can, so this is very simple, very few simple steps to install Python. Everything is mentioned in detail over this presentation, so you can go through it. And if you fall into any issue, any kind of issue or something, try to first search in Google. If you are unable to find the resolution, we can discuss over here as well. So now once you have installed, there are again two ways to access it. One thing is through the command prompt. So if you type in your Windows, whenever you have installed, if you type Python py, as soon as you type, you see this. So this is the command prompt. So if you click on this, this kind of black window will open up, and you will see these three bars. So this is nothing but you are already in a Python. So you can do any operations over here. Let's say 2 plus 6, right? So you can perform all these operations over here. So which means that Python is installed in your system. Okay, that is one way. Then we learned another way was, because this to work in a command prompt is very difficult. So I told you another way to access Python, that is using Anaconda Navigator. So for this also there are clearly steps defined in this link. You can go through it. It's very simple. You just go through this link and read through it. So you can install Python using Anaconda Navigator. The best part about Anaconda Navigator is it just do not have just one single language. Whatever important language you name, be it Visual Studio, R, Python ke liye there are two IDs in this, Spider and Jupyter. So we learned about Jupyter yesterday, and this is what we will be working more, because of its simplicity. That, like, if I show you how Jupyter looks like, right? So for example, here if you see, this is what Jupyter looks like. So you can simply install, and there is a Jupyter, click and you can just launch it, so it will be directly opening in your browser. So you can, so this kind of a screen will open up directly in your browser. Then from here, either you can open a new old notebook, or you can create a new notebook by click on this here. So as soon as you click on this, there's this new notebook will be opened. Here you can type anything. So the why notebook, because whatever input operations you are doing, you can see the output over here also. So even though you do not run it, you can simply load it. So not only the input code, but the output itself also you will be able to see. So input plus output, both, everything is stored. otherwise what you might have seen in code, only input code, whatever the code line of code somebody has written, right? You will see only that only. You won't see what that code is doing, you won't see what is the output of the code. And that is the beauty of Jupyter Notebook, that it will save not only just input code but also the output, so that it's easy to understand, it is easy to debug. And that's why we also will be using Jupyter Notebook. And 90% of the time in industry, it is notebook only has been used. And then we just used code, I mean Spider, which will be learning after some point in time. It's exactly same, it's just the way you so for example, you have a movie, right? You can load it in VLC media player, you can load in MX player, like it is like that only. So we will be using Spider also, but that is very rare, because when at the back end you want to run something, you are not interested to save output, because output takes memory to save, right? If you're not interested to do that, then you can switch to Spider and just save your code over there. Otherwise, everything, syntax and everything is same. You can simply copy paste from here and put it in Spider. It's that simple. Okay, fine. So with that, now we are clear. How do we use Python and all? Then we learned what is Python, right? It is Python interpreters and how it is different than compilers. So if you see C, C++, all these languages are compilers. However, Python, Ruby, all these are interpreters. And the major difference between the two is interpreters, translate or execute the command line by line. So when it is happening line by line, it is very easy to debug. So debugging is when let's say you are getting an error, right? So when you want to resolve it, that is what we call, that process is what we call debugging. Okay, and when you are running it line by line, imagine you have 1,000 line of code, right? So if so Python will tell you exactly at this line this is the problem. However, C++ will tell you there is some problem in the code, they won't tell you at which line, because they execute the entire code at the same time. So that language itself doesn't know at which line it is failing. So that's why Python is used, because it's easy to debug. Also, it takes less memory because it is doing it one by one, right? So there is less memory which is involved. However, in compilers you need more memory. So with this major advantage, Python is preferred. Okay, and how does it work? So simply the entire source code is converted into a bytecode, and then Python virtual machine, it is sent to where it is compiled fully. Then we learned about few of the important syntax, right? Like let's say if we want to print out something, so you can simply do the print. And if you want to give a string, so you have to make sure you are starting the code and then ending the code. So this will work, this will also work, but if you run this, it won't work, because so also remember, the single quote and double quote are different for Python. And also it is a case sensitive. So if you write small h or capital H, that is also different for Python. Okay. So in this case, if you see, we started the single quote, but we never ended the single quote. And that's the problem it is giving. It is giving EOL, that is end of line. So end of line is the problem, because according to Python, end of line has not happened because you have not closed the single quotes. Okay, so that these are the few things which have to be, you have to be careful. then as we know that Python works as a calculator, so you can perform any kind of simple calculation what you perform in calculator, or any kind of complex problems also. It can also take the variable as an assignment, right? So for example, if you want to store some value in a variable, and then you can use that variable later on. So all these functionality is doable in Python. So you can simply assign the values using the equal symbol. Okay, then we learned about the language syntax. So basically identifiers, right? So Python need identifier. So what is identifier? We all have names, right? My name is Neha. You all having name through which people know you, right? So similarly, Python also need identifiers, so that you can save the value and you can use that in future. So now there are rules for that, right? So there is a naming rule for that. So variable length can be anything, and there can be underscore also. And there should not be any special character except underscore. So all those spaces, ampersand, percentage, all these things are not allowed. So these are simple naming rules, which you can just simply go through it. It is very easy to read and understand. And as I already mentioned, it is case sensitive. So small x and capital X are two different variable for Python. Okay, so that's how we define variables name, and we assign the value so that we can use it in future. Then we learned there are certain reserved words in Python which you cannot use it as variable. Okay, so these are few of the words as mentioned. So some of them are like true or false. So true or false are boolean words which is already reserved, so you cannot assign values to those variables, because Python is using those variable name for some other functions or for some other functionality, right? For example, if and else. So if and else is you will learn that when you have to give condition, right? If this happens, then do this, else you do this. Likewise, so that's why if you cannot use to assign a variable, if you will use it, it will give you error. Okay, it's simply like that. So for example, human, I mean, you might have noticed somewhere when you enroll, right? It says that you cannot use this email ID or you cannot use this username because it is taken. It is like that because all these words are taken by Python, and these are the set of words, and that's why Python says this is reserved for me, you are not allowed to use it. As simple as that. Okay. Similarly, if you want to put some comments, right, because you want to make your code readable to you also, so that let's say if you are opening it after some point in time, you should be able to realize that what that code does, what is each or every module does. So you can assign comments also in between. And how you can do it? You can simply put the hash symbol before the line, so that it will not be read by Python. It is for human reading purpose only. So wherever you put hash and after that, even you can do like that. So let's say you assign a variable, so Python will read till this point. After this, as soon as you put hash, it won't read. Okay. But within quotes, hash, it doesn't work, because within quotes, hash is something like it's a variable sort of thing. So it will treat it like that. It is not a comment. This is a value. Okay. But this is a comment. Without quotes, if you put hash, which means that this is a comment and Python will not read this. And let's say if you want to give multi-line statement, you can use triple quotes. Clear? So these were the few functionalities. Then there are colors also assigned to each and every syntax for Python. And if you want to give multiple lines, right? So as I was telling you, if it is true, then you do this. So you have to give proper indentation for this. So for example, if you see else starts here, but print does not start here. So print is not starting in the same line, right? There is some space. So we call it as tab. You have to give tab, because if and else, because this is a nested thing, right? Whatever language you might have read, these are the common practice. So if you are giving if else, it has to be in a nested one. Okay. Nested as in it will not be in a single line, because it has to understand that if this happens, then you have to do this. So which means that if this happens, then you go inside this, else it won't read this line, it will directly go to else and read this line. Okay. So these are the few things. Then we discussed about the quiz. Then we learned about what are the different data types, right? So we will be learning there are numbers, strings, booleans, list, tuples, set, and dictionary. So from next 2 days, we will be learning all these data types, because it is important, right? Then how you will know that what to use, when to use, how to convert different data types, right? It is very important when you are doing the data analysis or even data modeling, like that data scientists do, right? So that's why we have to understand these things in detail, that what are they, how to use them. So let's go them one by one. So we learned about numbers, right? So numbers can be integer or can be numeric also. So it can be it can have decimal numbers, so we call them float variables. Otherwise it's an integer variable, right, if it is a whole number. Similarly, Python can take complex numbers as well. right? As you can see here, if it is 10.0, so the class, so how to check the class or type, you can simply say type of the variable, it will tell you it is float, right? If there is not zero point 0, it will say it is integer, int. Okay, and then you can delete a variable simply by this, right? So likewise you can work on that, the numbers. Okay, so as I was telling you, there are typically these type of different numerical types. So integer is the one, float is the one, then we have the complex number. But complex number is not used much in Python programming, so it is just there for the sake, but it is not used that much, right? Then we learned, so these are the few examples of int, float and complex numbers, and these are the few calculation which you can perform, right? Then we learned about there are different libraries. So I, as I was telling you, right, Python is very big in terms of, the library or the function which is developed. So you can think of library as in literally a library, right? So you go in a library, you, there are a lot of books available, right? So there are, so it is divided in one section. So which domain you want to read, which kind of book, so everything is available, right? Same thing works like this. So as I was telling you, Python library is really big because people like us are developing those library. So let's say if I developed a function today to do the addition, and I feel it is different than a traditional addition, right? Or maybe it is faster, so I can create my own function, say faster addition, and I can put it in GitHub. Now if you load my library, you should be able to use that faster addition function, right? So that is the purpose of library. We simply load the library which you want to use, and then you can use that function. Now the question comes, how do we know about that library? How do we know that it exists? You simply Google it. You simply Google what you want to do in Python, and in most of the few links, you will get to know about, okay, all these function exist, from which library they are. Then you can simply load the library, load that library and use that function, right? Simply there is a library called import math. So there is a math library for most of the mathematical function. All you have to do is just import math in your Python, and then all these functions you can use, right? Like absolute, ceiling, floor, comparison of two variable, exponential, right? Logarithmic of this, maximum and minimum of this. So all these functions are accessible in using the math library. Okay, so so we will be doing the practice session after the end of the today's session in the notebook. That time these things will be even more clear to you. Okay, so all these functions we can use. Then sometimes what happen is, let's say we read the data from different data sources, right? We read the data from CSV or from Excel file. So sometimes what happens, there is a numerical data, but just because it is coming from the different source, for Python it is some other data type, right? It can be a string or it can be float or any other data type, right? And you want to convert that. So simple, there is a this command you can use. So for example, if you want to convert any variable into an integer, you can do that using int, and then you can pass that variable in this. It will be simply converting your variable into an integer. Similarly, you can convert an integer into a float, into a long integer, right? And or into a complex variable for that matter. So all these data conversion also you can do in between, right? And then these are the operators which we learned. So I'm going real fast because I'm just doing a quick recap of what we learned yesterday. Okay, so we will be starting today from string, so then that time I'll take it slow. Okay, so all these arithmetic operators we learned yesterday, that how we can use it. Okay, so comparison operators, logical operators, so we will see them in detail, how do we use it. Okay, so there is all the details available, that what all each of the symbol does. Okay, so this is for complement. So if it is yes, then this will make it no, or it will just make opposite of it. Okay, so this is complement. Then we have plus, minus. These are very basic symbols. You already know about them, right? So you can go through it. Then we did the quick quiz. Yeah, and this is where we will be starting today. session, Python strings. Okay, I hope things are clear. I'll just take 1 minute break in case any of you has any question. Or if you try, did you guys try installing Anaconda Navigator or Python in your system? Okay, is it working? Okay, perfect. Great. So I really like the kind of response I'm getting from you guys. So really enthusiastic people, and I definitely love it because see, when you guys are showing interest, then it increases my interest also. Because if you won't show interest, I will not feel like teaching from my full potential, and that is true. Okay. So Bushra said I was not unable to download Anaconda. Why? What was the problem? Or if you can just share the screenshot, you know. So yeah, you have to tell what problem occurred, right? Because others are able to do it. So I would suggest please try to search that problem in Google, or if still it is not resolving, you can reach out to the ExcelR team. They should be able to help you out. If still it is not resolving, or maybe they can connect you to me. Okay, so fail to download. So then it might be, maybe your internet which is stopping, your firewall might be stopping. Then you have to check your laptop setting. Then it is, problem with your download thing from that website. So you have to, maybe you may have to check your firewall or Windows security setting. Okay, fine then. Let's get started with the string section. Okay. So Python string, right? So till now we learned about numbers. Now we are learning about characters or string. So string as in my name, right? Anybody else name or whatever is, characters you can write in ABC, that is a string. Okay. And to give that string, you have to give that in quotes, either single quote or double quote, but you have to give in quotes only. Because what happens is, if you don't give it as a quote, it will treat as a variable, and for then it will give you error something like that variable is not defined. Okay, so in order to define string, always remember you have to put them in a quotes. Okay, so string are amongst the most popular types in Python. We can create them simply by enclosing characters in quotes. Python treats single quote the same as the double quotes, creating string as simple as assigning a variable. So for example, you can create a string and put them in a variable. So variable one is hello world. Variable two is Python programming. You can simply add the two. So if you will add the two, you will get hello world plus Python programming. Like that you will get. Okay, you can in fact give a multi-line string also. So for example, paragraph you are seeing, right? So this is a paragraph. So all you have to do is just put this backslash so that Python knows that your line has not ended yet. It has to go to the next line also. And wherever you want to end your line, you can simply put a full stop. Don't mention this backslash, and you can close the quotes. So that's how you give multiple lines in case if you want to give, but this is very rarely used. Typically we give like whatever, because you give a line or something like that, right? It ends in a single line. Okay, then if you check the type of this variable one, if you check or this, you will see be seeing str, that is a string. So class of this variable is a string. Okay, so now you can, simply try and accessing the slicing also. So how it works is, so for example, let's try that out, right? So let me try this. Okay, so you can simply copy paste here, and in Python, if you see, I can go to the notebook, and in the notebook I can paste this over here, and to run this, I can either click here this run option. So it has run now. Okay, so as you can see here, what it printed, what I was printing. So I was printing variable 1 0. So I have put that in quotes. So when I have put that in quotes, which means that it is taking this literally. So if you see, this has put it exactly same as this, right? Because it doesn't understand what it is inside. is just think of that this is what you want to display, because I have put that in quotes, right? It does not have any meaning, right? It is just a string for it. So that's why it has printed that string. Now after comma, it will understand this, what is this we are trying to print. Okay, so as you can see here, variable 1, and this is 0 index. So it is 0 index. So 0 index as in, what is the, so in Python it starts with 0. Okay, it doesn't start with 1, it starts with 0. So what is the there in the first place? It is h. So that's what you are seeing here, h. Okay, and similarly, here what we are trying to print, variable 2 1 to 5. So that's what you are seeing here, variable 2 1 to 5. And then if you see what is there, 1 to 5, here it is 1 starting with y, because 0 is p, right? So you can count it like 0 1 2 3 4 5, like that. So 0 1 2 3 4 5. So it is 1 to, even though it is 5, it the last thing doesn't count. Okay, so if you really want to print fifth also, you have to give 6. So if I give 6, sorry, yeah. So you see here, now you have printed n also. So this is the thing which you have printed over here of the variable 2. So that's how you can do the slicing. Okay. So all you have to remember is Python mein index starts with 0, not from 1. So that's how you can access the, or you can slice the variables. Clear? I hope this is clear. Similarly, you can, do this. You can, it's string co. If you want to print it multiple times, you can simply do multiply it by 2. Okay, you can add also. So let's print this. Okay, let's see them one by one what it does. Okay, so if you see here, it has printed twice. Okay, similarly, you can give the negatives also. So let's try this, right? What is this negative sign? So let me print this fully. Okay, so what it does, let's try it one by one. So let me just show you guys what this does. Okay, so what it is doing, what was my variable 1? Variable 1 was this, right? So I told that you start whenever I'm putting negative, which means that instead of starting from left to right, right? Typically things we read it left to right? But whenever I'm giving negative, which means that it is right to left. Okay, or from the last index is what I'm trying to say. Instead of you have to count index from last, not from the end. Okay, so what is the index, fifth index from the last? It is 0. It will start from here, right? 0. 0 is this exclamatory sign. 0 1 2 3 4 5, correct? So then that's why it is starting from here, from world, and then it is ending till -1, that is d. Okay, if I would have done, instead of -1 I put up 0, so it will be sorry, I have to give -1 only because it is last, right? So it is this. That's why it has put it like that. All you have to remember is, uh, uh, in order to slice any string, it always starts with 0, and then it goes on till what it ends, right? If you want to access it, you can just simply give those variable index. And if you want to access something from the last, you just have to give a negative symbol. That's all. Okay, so these are some things about string indexing and slicing. So it is very similar to, like, remember arrays. So we will be learning arrays also. A string in an array of character. So what is array? Right? Or similarly, it's a string, right? So string is also an array of a character. Just like an array, you do have indexes for the string, right? And Python provides special tools to create substrings out of string. It's called slicing. So we can do the slicing, right? Just now we saw, if you define a string and you just give string 2 to 5, it will just print anything which is in between. So likewise, you can create substrings from strings. Okay, so we have already seen this example. So I would encourage, if you guys, try it out at your own, and try to do all this example. You can simply add another string in this just using addition symbol. So it is for concatenation, right? So this is for concatenation. This is putting string multiple times, right? -1 is printing the last item. So as I was telling, right, -1, which means that it starts with, it will start with end. That's why when I put 0, it was not giving anything, because end has to be start with -1, right? So end item is -1. Then you can print it out simply in reverse order. Let's try that out if we want to print something in reverse order, right? So for example, my where one was this, right? And my where. So in order to print both the things, let me put a print symbol over here. Previous year it was hello world. Now as soon as I put double, you in order, if you really want to put something in reverse order, you can put two quotes, these two colons and -1. So it has printed in a reverse order. Okay. So likewise you can do, this is a substring we already learned, right? So that these are the few of the functionality which you can do, right? So here are the operations. So you can do the concatenation. Concatenation means adding the two strings. So a plus b will give you hello Python. You can do the repetition using multiplication, right? You are multiplying strings. So you are doing the repetition of multiple strings. So you can do that, right? Similarly, this square brackets are for slicing, and square brackets with colon are for range slice. So you can give 2 to 5 or 1 to 4, like that you can get the substring of the string, right? Then you have in means that h in will give 1. So let's try this out, right? Let's say if you have a variable, right, hello world. If I want to see whether h is there in variable 1 or not, I can test it out. So you see I got true. Okay, but let's say if I give small h is there or not, false. Okay, it is a case sensitive, right? And h is not there in this. So likewise, you can check whether h is there or not. So what it is testing, whether this variable is there in this variable or not. Okay, so that's how you can check. Similarly, you have not in also. So not in means just reverse of it. So you will get true. Similarly, if there is h, so it will, you will get reverse of it, right? It is just complement of the in. Okay, so all these things are useful, and you will see where, right, when you do the data analysis part, right, that time it is very much useful. So strings are classes. They come inbuilt with a lot of useful methods. A lot of string editing stuff become easy to carry out because of these inbuilt methods. So that's what I'm saying. Now you may not be realizing what is the value of all these operations. But when you do perform the data analysis, right, when you have those text columns which you have to pre-process and clean, that time it is very important. So to give you example, let's say you want to clean your data, and in the text column, if I ask you just remove last, if there is any s or es, let's imagine there are plural words and you want to convert them in a singular words. Simply I ask you, you just whatever s or es you had in end, you remove them. So you can simply check, clear whatever, if let's say that plural list, you can simply create a substring where you are not including last two words or last one word, right? So that is a very good example of where you can use this. So that's why it is very helpful. Okay, you can in fact calculate the length of the strings. How you can do it? Simply length of variable one. So len is the command. When you do this, so it is 12. So in fact you can count, it will count the space also. Okay, so what it is, 1 2 3 4 5 6 is the space, 7 8 9 10 11 and 12th is the exclamatory sign. So that's why length is 12, and index, if you see, it is starting with 0 and ending at 11, right? Because if I give variable 1 for 12, it will give me error that it is a string out of index, because index is starting from 0, so it will always be one number less than length. So variable 11 will be the exclamatory sign and variable 0 will be the h. So always remember this. Don't get confused कि length 12 है तो index भी उसका 12 तक होगा. No, index will be one less than that. Okay, and whenever we give something in colon, so let's say when I am giving something, let's say uh, print 1 to 5, or what is 1 to 5, right? Let me just do this. Okay, so wait. Okay, okay, I think, okay, okay, sorry. Sometimes I get confused in R and Python. So in R we give like that, but here we can give it like range. So I think range command will work. That will be coming. That time will explain you. Okay, fine. So that was the length of the string. Okay, then what else you have in string? You can actually replace also. So this is also very important command, right? How you can do is in string you can replace the old value, what you want to replace, and what is the new value, and the count. Okay, so count is something like optional, a number specifying how many occurrence of the old value you want to replace. Okay, default is all occurrence. So just like you do in notepad or any word, right? You do control R, right? You give the old word, you give the what you want to replace with, and then you want to see whether you want to, replace it all the places, or just one first place or second place or whatever, like that you can do. So simply here also you can do it. So for example, let's say this is the text, right? And I want to replace, so this is my text. Okay. So let me see what is my text. Okay. So, okay. One problem here is whenever you copy paste. So that's what I'm saying. Please make sure that because things change. Whenever you are copying from Word or PPT, na, especially the quotes, it gets changed. So as you can see here it is double quote, but here it is inverted commas. It is not double quote. So that's why it is giving me error that end of line while scanning string literal. इसका मतलब according to Python ये line finish नहीं हुई है. So that's why please pay attention. क्योंकि looking at it you can say हाँ मैंने quote चालू किया quote end कर दिया, but it has not happened, right? Actually it is a wrong symbol. So you just delete it and then you put a correct symbol. So this is a correct symbol. Now you run it, it will run. Okay. So as you can see, this is my text. Right now, let's say if I want to replace text dot replace. Sorry, replace. Then, and one more thing. So let's say you want to put a replace command, right? And you are not sure what exactly that command is. So you just type initial thing, just let's rep. Now you just press tab button. So as you saw, मैं type भी कर रही थी, मैंने tab भी गलती से press कर दिया था. That's why double आ गया था वहां. अभी मैंने type नहीं किया. I just typed re and then I put press tab. तो automatically जो function होगा that will come up over here. Okay, and if there are multiple function, it will show you in the list that which function you want to use. So that is something by default, right? आप Google पे भी search करते हो तो as soon as you type few initial words, it will start showing you what exactly you want to search, right? Similarly here it will show you what all functions are available starting with those words and which one you want to use. Okay, so let's say if you want to replace something in string, so text dot replace. Now what do you want to replace? Let's say I want to replace 1 with 4. Okay, and that's all. I simply did that. So you see wherever I was having 1, it was is replaced it with 4. Okay, so that's how it works. Let's say if I work like this, because it is not there, it won't make any changes because this thing was not here. So you have to make sure that you are giving exactly the same thing which you want to replace, and here the new value. Okay, cool. So this is one replace. Another, this method is also very useful. Find. So let's say if you find something, you want to find something, from in the string that you can give. So the value you can give what you want to find, and then you can give from the entire string where exactly you want to find. But again, this is optional. So for example, if I want to find wherever there is one, right? So I will do text dot find, and let's say 1 I did. So you saw here, it gave me 0. Why 0? Because 1 was coming at the first only. So it gives you the start index where it was coming. So let's say let me search where was. It gave at 8th. Why 8th? Because if you count 1, 2, 3, 4th is the space, 5, 6, 7, then again 8th was the space, and then from here it found. So actually it is starting with 0, right? So 8th index is W. So 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2. Third is the space. If I count from 0, right? I should have counted from 0. Third is the space, then 4, 5, 6. Again, seventh is the space, and eighth is the W. So that was term starting with 8. So that's why you are able to find it. And let's say if you are searching for something which is not there, it will tell you it is not there. So -1 is something that it is not able to find that term in this text, and that's why it is giving you -1. Clear? So replace क्या करता है, find क्या करता है? I hope that is clear. And start and end मतलब आपको किसके बीच में find करना है. So for example, अगर मुझे 1 ही find करना होता, but I am telling कि मुझे शुरुआत से find नहीं करना. Let's say I want to search after 10th place, 10 से लेके 30 तक. Okay, so it's not there in 10. ठीक है, सिर्फ 10 से लेके 30 तक नहीं होगा, बिकॉज 10 से लेके 30 के बीच में नहीं होगा. 10 से लेके 30 इज मे बी समवेयर इन बिटवीन. सो देयर इज नो 1. Okay, let me increase this. Let me increase this 50. So you see now it has identified at 38th place. So this will be the 38th place. So that's why it has ignored these two one, and it has identified this one, because I gave the range that you search only between these two. So only between these two is this. We can check that, right? What is only between these two? Text 10 to 50. What is this much? This. So as you can see, right? It starts with the a horse was 2 to 1 2. So that's why these two things were ignored. And earlier I gave 30 na, so 30 में ये 1 नहीं आ रहा था last वाला. You see it ended at 2. That's why there was no 1. So likewise you can do the replace and find. I hope these things are clear. Okay. Similarly, there is command called is alphanumerical. Is AL enum is alphanumerical. So what happened is sometimes we have to check if characters in the text is alphanumerical or not. So what is alphanumerical? It returns true if all the characters are alphanumerical, meaning there is only alphabet letters, that is A to Z, and numbers 0 to 9. There should not be spaces or these extra symbols. So sometimes what happened, I can give you one example, which is a practical example which I am actually implementing for my project. So there are invoices, right? There are bills. So I am trying to develop a system which can automatically read the bill. Right now, what I want to do is there is a invoice number, if you guys are aware, right? Every bill has some number, and most of the time it is only alphanumerical. There can be letters, there can be numbers, right? There should not be any special symbol. So this exact function I am using. So what I'm checking is I want to know whether whatever field I have extracted, whether it is valid or not. So what I'm doing is I'm simply checking string dot is alphanumerical. So it should be true. If it is false, which means that there is some problem. So let's take this, right? If I search with this company 12, right? And if I check is, so I just typed is and I press the tab. So see, there is lot of things. That's why it is showing me the lists. Now it is up to me what I want to search. So I want to search alphanumerical. Okay, so for that it is this ALNM, right? So I simply selected this, and that's all. So it gave me false because there was a space. So actually in invoice number, there should not be any space, right? So that's why I just click on that's why now I know this is not a valid key. So I can go and, take corrective action accordingly. So let's say if I remove the space, now it is true. So it can only take a character and a number, no special symbol. Clear? So that's the use case of this string, right? Similarly, you can do the split. So splitting is, okay, I'll just take a quick pause. I hope you guys are able to understand things, right? So all these functions, so I hope I'm going at a slower pace. Okay, and we will be taking a small break after half an hour, right? Of 10 minutes of break, we will take at 12:30. Okay, so that and before we resume for next session, we will be, discussing the queries also if you guys have. Sure, sounds interesting. Okay, so similarly, we have these split functions also. So what, as the name, see, all these functions are very simple, as the name suggests. And if you are wondering or worrying कि what if you don't remember, आप कैसे याद रखोगे ये सारे function exist करते हैं, तो I am giving you a very simple answer. You don't have to remember. You don't have to remember at all. For example, अगर मेरे मान लीजिए मुझे split करने का, मतलब देखिए ये सारे names they have a literal meaning, right? So you know, if you, let's say if you want to find something in the string, you know you have to find something, right? So all you have to do is, let me show you. All you have to do is just Google, go to the Google and say find in string, because that is what you want to do, right? You just don't know what is the syntax, but you know what you want to do. So you just go Google and search find in string in Python. That's all. So you see here in the few initial results, you will get what is the syntax. So you go here, you can see there is, this is find command, this is the thing, and that's how you have to use. Your problem is solved, isn't it? You don't have to remember there is a string find function and that's how you can use it. You don't have to remember at all. But you just know that it exists and you should know that how to search for it. That's all. Okay. So likewise, you have split, because all these syntaxes are also very simple, easy to remember. Right. So simply string also split also what it does is it will be splitting a string into a list where each word is a list item. So for example, and you can give the separator that how you want to split. Okay. So for example, in this text only, let's say I have this text, right? So if I want to do this text dot split and I have not given anything, so it will split by default with a space. So that is a default setting. So wherever it will find a space, it will split. Okay. And let's say if you don't want to do that, if you want to split with a comma, so what you can do is you just give it the separator. So separator is comma, and now you see it has split it into two parts because there was just one, one comma. So it has split it into two parts. Okay, clear? So I'm just checking whether it will can split a word or not. So like you can see, if you give a word, then it will just split it because it's just one single word, right? So likewise you can do. Okay. So likewise, then you can give something called max split. So it specify how many splits you want to do. Okay. So let's say if you are saying that you just split it one times or two times or three times, accordingly it can, work like that. So for example, in this case, even though there were two commas, but it has just split it using first comma only. The second comma it has ignored because I gave max split to be 1. Okay, then you have join command. So like string command is useful, similarly join command. So what two things you want to join, right? So for example, if you have a list of words and if you want to join, all you have to do is just join the things and how you want to join, right? So for example, let me split that only. So let me store that text dot split here. Right now, let's say if I want to join, how can I join? Simply the symbol how I want to join. Let's say with a space dot join, and I can give that list because now it is a list, right? It is a list of different splitted words. So if I do that, it will be joining as an exact sentence. Let's say now it is up to me. I can join it with a special symbol. Let's say ampersand. So you see, it has put the ampersand between wherever it has joined. So likewise, it is up to you how you want to join. You can simply join a list or a tuple. We will see what is list and tuple in upcoming things. But That's how you can join the things. So you can join any iterable. So it has to be a iterables. So what is iterable? Which is where you can go through it. It has to be a list, right? List is a iterable. Iterable as in list of iterations. Okay. Okay. Then there are few more commands or few more string operation like upper, lower. So let's say if you have a string, if you just do dot upper, it will convert everything to a uppercase. Simply there are lower, it will convert everything to a lower case, right? Then we saw split. So how you want to split, you give the separator. You can check if it is alphanumeric or not. Right, you can do the starts with a also, you can check that, right? Ends with. So for example, if you have so this function is very useful when you are, reading some files from a folder. So I am giving you live, I mean practical examples, ताकि आपको ये ना लगे ये सारी चीजें useless है. It has very much value. So imagine, so this one I have recently used. Imagine I have to read full of files from a folder, right? Automatically I have to read fun files from the folder using Python. So now let's say it has mix of PDFs, mix of Excel file and all. So I am already interested in PDF. So what I can do is, in that list of file I can simply search that whatever is that list of file, if it is ending with PDF, I want to search it, like that, right? So simply over here what I can do is, in the text command I can say that, the text dot ends. So again ends, then you put a tab, ends with, then you can say 2. It is false. Why false? Because there was a pause, decimal over here, I mean, um, that full stop was here. So if you do this, it is true. So it will select only those wherever it is ending with. Similarly, you can give start with. So all these functions are very much useful in such case. Okay, simply raw string. So what is raw string? It will not convert this sequence to a new line. A raw string proceeds with R. Okay, so let's print that, then you will understand. Okay, so let me print this. Do you see what it does here? It, because there is this slash n in Python. So if I press this slash n in Python now, or let me try this out like this. So slash n is reserved for new line. So as I was telling you, right, there are certain things which is reserved in Python. Similarly, slash n is reserved for a new line. That is, you press enter, right? So you, anytime you observe in Notepad or something, right, you press enter, and there is something called, you can see special symbols. There is a thing called in Python, I mean not in Python, the notepads or your word pads, you can see symbols also. तो जो symbols होते हैं हमारे पास tab, right, shift, enter, राइट, तो ये सारे सिंबल्स का एक मीनिंग होता है. तो सिंपली एंटर का मीनिंग होता है स्लैश एन, दैट इज गो टू द न्यू लाइन. टैब का होता है स्लैश टी, सो पुट अप टैब. स्पेस का होता है स्लैश एस. Okay, so all these things are reserved even in Python also. So simply, as you can see here, slash n is a new line. So what Python did over here is, C sum tak to he it printed, and then slash n it understood it's a new line. So in a new line it printed AME. Okay, so according to this there is no problem, but according to us there is a problem, because we wanted it to print it literally like this. So to avoid such thing, what we can do is, there is something called R. R means raw string. इसका मतलब you take it the way it is. You don't consider that there is any special or hidden meaning in this. You just take it like you are making Python dumb. You are saying that uh, you don't आप अपना दिमाग नहीं लगाओ, मैंने जो बोला है वही print करो. As simple as that, right? Putting a R means exactly like that, कि तुम अपना दिमाग नहीं लगाओ, मैंने जो बोला है वही करो. So same thing like that, right? As soon as I print R over here, it will print in one single line. Okay. So it ignores key there is this slash n and it has to put in a new line. So for that purpose, you can put R. Again, a small thing, but it is very useful, because imagine you want to print a text or print want to print so many things, and अगर वो lines ऐसे break कर दे in between, so it is not readable, right? It is not good to for printing or for output. Okay, then we have string formatting operators, right? So one of the coolest feature in string format operator is percentage. So this operator is unique to strings and makes up the pack of having function from, C's print family. So what is the simple example? As you can check. So let me do this, right? Let me print this. Let's see what happens. Okay. Okay, so here what it did, right? It is very much useful for printing operation. So if you see, read this, what I gave, my name is percentage S. Okay. And then I gave is, and weight is percentage D kg, right? And I put it a put it in quotes. उसके बाद what I gave is, I gave percentage and then I gave two values. So what it does is, सबसे पहले जहां भी percentage s है, so it checked. So this is actually for replacement. So what kind of replacement? So basically it is checking in this table whatever we have given value. So it is checking what is a string. So percentage s, which means that it will go in this table wherever you have put this percentage, and it is checking what is the string over here. So this is the string. So that's why it has pulled this string here. That's why you are saying my name is Jara. So instead of percentage s, it has put Jara. Similarly, percentage D, matlab what is digit? So digit, it has checked that it is 21, and that's why it is put 21 over here. So we call it as string formatting. So it is very much useful when you are printing something, right? Let's say you want to print an error. You can say the error is, then you don't know what is the error, right? So you can put this percentage and you can save a error in some variable, and you can put that variable over here. Clear? So that's why it is very much useful when you are writing some code and you want to make sure that whenever you are running the code, right? मतलब आप भी जब कोई website खोलते हो तो sometimes you get error, right? It is not always you go through. You sometimes you see HTTP error 404 or some other kind of error. How it is getting print? The same way, because they have written at the end of the program that if it fails, you save that error and then you print it over here. So that printing happens like that. Okay. Okay, fine. So strings are immutable, strings are read-only. So immutable means it cannot be changed. Mutable means it can be changed. Immutable matlab it cannot be changed. It is read-only. Okay, fine. Then you have triple quotes, right? So Python's triple quotes come to rescue, allowing strings to multiple time lines. We have seen that already, right? आपको अगर new including new lines, tabs, any other special character you can include in this triple quotes. So for example, this. Okay, you just have to give three quotes over here. Then you can simply type in multiple lines, right? And whenever you want to end it, you just end the quote. Let's do this, right? Let's print this. Again, be careful, because you see this came in red. So I know there is a problem. This has not finished properly. Why? Because this quote is again inverted in an inverted comma. It is not double quotes. So that's why it was a problem. So now you see this color changed. So now I know there is no problem. Okay. So as soon as I did this, see it did that. So this it exactly printed like the way I wanted to be, and wherever I gave tab slash and it has literally taken the meaning. So tab is the tab four spaces. It has done that. Slash n is the new line, so it has gone to the new line. Okay, cool. If I would have put R over here, it may not have taken this to meaning. It have printed as it is. Okay, so when the above it produce the following results, right? So we have seen that. Okay. Okay, cool. So these are the special symbols, right, in strings. So slash A, slash B is backspace, right? So all these are reserved ones. So let's say if you are typing something and you are not printing it, right? So that is the list you can check. All these words has a special meaning, right? So slash n is for new line, triple n for octal notation, and some other thing, right? Some most of them may not even know or aware about it, but it exists, right? So this is for space tab. Space tab and new line is what we mostly know, right? Vertical tab, character X, like that. But other things also is reserved. So if let's say you are trying to print something and it is not happening, then you can check this list and accordingly you can put R or take necessary action. Okay, quiz time. So answer me. What will be the output of this? A, B, C, B, C, A, B, C. क्या होगा इसमें आंसर? I want answer in chat. Shall I switch to chat? Have you seen the question? A, B, C, D में से क्या होगा आंसर? Let's go to the chat. Are people typing? A, B, C. A, B, C. Yes. So some of the people say D, which is also right because D is A, B, C. Perfect. इसका क्या आंसर होगा? A, B, C, D में मैं स्लाइस कर रही हूँ 2 से, starting with 2. So from where it will start? आंसर क्या होगा इसका? C, D. Yes, perfect. C, D. Yes. Then string 1 is hello. Then if I am printing from -1, then what it will be? Any idea? Somebody is saying, oh, it will be a reverse order, is what you are saying. Let's do that now. Let's check this. Let's check it over here. Okay, and then string 1, minus, my goodness. Okay, it's just O, right? Because I went to the last item and last item ke baad I did not give anything. For reverse, it was not this string. For reverse, it was double colon and then -1. So it will be for reverse. Okay. So be careful. Whoever answered O is correct. Okay. Let's switch to other thing. So what arithmetic operator cannot be used with the string? Plus use हो सकता है. This use हो सकता है. Minus use हो सकता है. Sorry. What is the answer? Minus cannot be used. Okay, so C is the answer. Minus cannot be used. Okay. What is the output of this? R laga hai and then you have this. So the output will be a new line and hello or this. Or the letter R and then hello. What will be the output? B. Yes, B will be the output because it will take it literally as it is. Then you have this print new line. What will be the output here? B, D. No, I think it would be C. Let's see. जहाँ भी doubt है, confusion है, we have Python, right? We can quickly check over here. See? So the answer is C. Because you did not put it anything, na? Even though you had space here, but you don't have space between the quotes. So that's why it will take literally whatever you have in quotes and it will print it. Okay, अगर आप यहाँ पे space डालोगे तब ये space समझेगा and space डालेगा. Okay, it doesn't consider space outside the quotes. Clear? So the answer would be C. Okay. Then print this. What will be the thing over here? A, B, C, D. D. Yes, D is the right answer. D is the tab. Okay, then you have this 0 cross A plus B plus C. Any idea? Let's try this. Okay. 33. Why 33? Because this 0 cross A, just now I was showing you, right? It has certain symbols. So these are hexagonal symbols. And then you are adding it up. So after once you add, you might be getting the 33 number. Okay, fine. So now this is the example. You have snowbird. Then example 3, you have changed it to S. Now what will be the example? A, B, C, D. So what is the third place with a 3 index? So it is actually W, right? So W को आप replace कर रहे हो S से. So what will be the answer? D. Yeah. अच्छा. Somebody says doesn't change. Let's try it out, na? Let's try it out. Let's see if it is changing or not. Sorry, it has to be in bracket. So that's what I was telling you. It tells you with a line, exact line, what is the problem. So it gave me print example. So I know the problem is with print, and I know that I forgot to give the quotes, I mean brackets. That's why it gave error. Okay, another, there is some problem. Yeah. So some of you said string object does not support item assignments. So whoever said doesn't change is right. Right, that it won't change. Okay. So it is error. The answer would be error. Okay. It won't allow the assign item assignments because strings are immutable. Clear? Error है answer इसका. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Then we have example and it is asking for finding E. So what will be the answer? Error देगा -1, 0 or 1. What is the answer? Why -1? You have E. You have E two places. So answer would be 1 because it gives start index. So H 0 पर है, E 1 पे है. So it will give you 1. Okay. Then how to concatenate two strings? What do you think? Which one is right? You have to concatenate two items. Sorry. Simply आपको add करना है. P is your answer. Okay. Yeah, P. Most of you answered correctly. So great job, guys. You answered it correctly. इसका मतलब you are paying attention. So thank you so much for paying attention. So with that, let's move to the list. Okay. Let me see how much we have more. Or let's do one thing. Let's take a break now and then we will come back and we'll take up the list and dictionary. So we are pending with list and dictionary, two more um, items for today. Then we'll move on to the notebook where we'll be summarizing all these functions. Okay, so let's take a quick break and let's come back at 12:35. Let's take 10 minutes break. Okay. I'm just typing so that if somebody is already on a break, they will know. So whoever has missed yesterday's class, ExcelR team is going to upload the video from yesterday's session. You can go through it. No, it is not remember all the functions and syntax. So that's what I told you. You don't have, in fact, I am telling you, I don't remember it. You will be seeing me struggling for syntax because for me, I have to you work on multiple languages. It is next to impossible for me to remember syntax. I most of the time get confused what is used in R, what is used in Python because I am currently working on two projects. One is in R, one is in Python. So I rely on Google. I know that I can, within a fraction of second, I can search for syntax what I'm looking for. So that level of confidence is what is needed, कि आपको search करना कितने अच्छे से आता है and how fast you can read. So all the attendance related query, certificate related query, you can please reach out to ExcelR team. Okay, so now I'm just going for away from for 5 minutes. I'll be back, by 12:35. Okay, hello, everyone. I hope you are back from the break. Just give 2 more minutes to everyone to be back. Okay, let's get started. Let me quickly share my screen. I hope everybody is back from the break. Okay, let's resume. So now we will be discussing about Python list. So now we will be discussing about Python list.
Neha ma'am, your voice is not audible. Can you check, please?
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, yes, ma'am. Now you're audible.
Sorry about it. There was a power fluctuation and then I got disconnected. So I will repeat again. I'm not sure at what point I lost connection. So just confirm me, anybody, was this slide covered or not? Was this slide, I mean, was any of the slide covered or not, or I have to start over? Okay. Okay, start over. Fine, I will start over. Okay, cool. So yeah, as I was saying, right, list is the heterogeneous list of items. So basically, the best part about list is that it can contain any kind of data types in one single list, and that's why it is heavily used, right? It is mutable. You can actually change the elements by just giving the index. Okay. So let's see how do we define the list, right? So as you can see here, you have given the string item, and you have given the numbers also and decimals also in the same list. Similarly, you have defined a list of same data type, that is numbers, same data type, that is strings. You can give the combination of the two. Okay, then again the similar operation as we saw in strings, right? Like indexing, concatenation, slicing, everything can be done in the same exact same way with list also. So these are all the list of operation which can be performed. And if you read it out, it is pretty much same as what we learned in string, because a string is also a kind of list of characters, right? So the same way this is list of different kind of elements. Okay, so let's say if you want to access first element, you can just do it with a zero indexing. So list 1 0 is, it will print physics, right? Similarly, if you go with 0 to 2, so it will print physics and chemistry both, right? So it can do the slicing, it can do the indexing. You can join these two lists. So if you join these two lists, you will be simply having, after this, all these numbers will be appended into this list. Okay, then you can simply do the multiplication, so it will be a repetition of the list, right? So for example, let me show you real quick over here, right? So let's say this is the list, and if I just do list multiply 2, so you saw it just appended, repeated again and again. So all these functions you can do. If I just do list plus list, right? So it will simply add the two list. Okay, so all these operations are possible. Length of the list also you can do. Okay, and as we saw that you can actually mute, it is mutable, so you can actually change the value of the list. So for example, let's say if you want to change list 0 and you want to make it as say 10, right? So you can do that. Now if you print it has been changed to 10 and rest of the numbers remain same. So that's why it is mutable. You can actually change the value of, you can change it, you can delete all element. Okay, so what it does is, let's say if you want to blank from 1 is to 3, you can just give the blank item, and then that's it. So you see it has deleted from 1 to 3. So 1 to 3 is 0, this is 0. So 1, 2, so 3 is not counted, right? So as I told you, last number is not counted. So 1, 2, 3 means 1 and 2 only. So this 1 and 2 items are deleted from the list. So as you can see here, you have only 10, John, and 70.2. Clear? So that's how you can, in fact, you can clear the complete list also. So you just put the quotes when you are putting quotes and don't giving anything, which means that it is entire list. So list colon, and then and this will clear your entire list. Okay. Similarly, up already I have told you, right? आप list within list भी दे सकते हो. So for example, over here, these are the two things where which is within the list. So let me show you in here only. So if you print P, it is like that. So Q is a list, and then P is list of list. So it has item 1, and then it has another list in this. So let's say if I want to access this item, what I can do, if I will do this, I will get this. Now within this list, if I want to access 0 or 1, so I can do that. So it is 2 I got, and then if I will do 1, I will get it like this. So the way to access within the list is, think logically, right? First you have to go in this list item. So this is at 1 index. So you printed 1 index. Now within that 1 index, you want to print whether it is a 0 or 1. So that you can do it with by giving 2 square brackets. Clear? Okay, fine. Okay, yeah. So then we already saw that you can concatenate the list by using addition symbol, right? This will create a second list in memory. Okay. Okay, and then using append. So this one item is that you can simply add it, right? Now let's say if you are running a loop, right? If you want to add something one by one, how you can do it? There is a append function also. So if you do simply append, and whatever item you want to append to this, So it will be added. So for example, here it was earlier 10, 20, 30. So this new item will be appended in this list. Similarly, in this, if you do append and then 1, 2, 3, so this 1, 2, 3 list has been appended. So append is nothing but if you want to append something or add something to the list. Okay. Then you have something called extend as well. So extend it something takes a single argument list and add each of the element to the list. So the difference between the two is append आपने देखा था तो it added it as a list. However, in this case, it will add one by one to a list. So that's the difference. Okay, so let's check it one more time in Python. Then it will be more clear to you guys. So let's say this is the item, and if I do append, so I have to print A. Okay, so this is the item, right? So append may it just append as it is. However, if I do extend, so if I do extend, and when I do the same thing, so what it will do, you see, of course, A has been modified now, right? So इसके बाद में वो append करेगा. Now it has appended one by one. It has not appended the length of the list. Okay. So for example, अगर मैं यहाँ पर एक बार अपन print करा लेते हैं length of A. Okay. So you can see the difference in length of A. And same thing, let me print over here. Okay, so let me run this. So as you can see here, length of the item is 4 because 1, 2, 3, 4. This is considered as one single item. जबकि यहाँ पर क्या होगा? It is 7 because 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this has been converted, considered as 3 single item, 5, 6, 7. Then you have something called insert. So insert matlab you can give the index where you want to insert and the element. So for example, अगर आप मान लीजिए आपको बीच में कुछ insert करना है, right? If you have to insert something in at first place or second place or third place, you can do that by just giving the insert command and doing the giving the value. Okay. So for example, 0 पे insert किया तो first value new insert हो गया. अगर ये मान लीजिए मैंने 100th place पे किया होता तो last में add हो गया. Okay. Clear? Then you can do the deletion. So we have already discussed deletion. You can simply give the blank list item to the index or for the entire list. The list. Okay, so simply you do the list dot remove and give the object which you want to remove from the list. So let's say 200 मैंने remove करना था इसमें से, but it will throw error because there is no item called 200 in this, right? So that's why it is giving error that it is not in list. Okay, but let's say if I remove 333, it will remove from this. Okay, cool. Then we have few more list items. Sorry. Okay. Then we have count. So you can actually count, right? So let's say if so what you have to do is just a dot count 333. So it will tell you it is appearing 2 times. Similarly, 66.25, it will tell you how many times it is appearing in the list, right? So this is count. Then you have index. So you can clearly say that a dot index. So it will tell you what is the index of this value. So let's say second ka value, if you see, it will always tell you the first time occurrence index. So for example, in this case, 2 is appearing like at the first place, right? Then it will tell you 1. If you give will give 3. So it will tell you 0, 1, 2, 3. Third place it is appearing. Actually, if you give something which is not there in the list, it will tell you that it will print a reverse order list. Okay. So these are all some of the typical functions which is available. Right. Now coming to the list comprehensions. So what do I mean with list comprehensions? So we'll see that. Okay. So let's say let's do this. Okay. Me do this. So let's say if I ask you एक list print करनी है, right? And I want to save all the values which is starting from 1 to 9 and I 1 to 11, 1 to 10, let's say. Okay. And I'm printing this I'll tell you one by one, don't worry about it. Okay, about this for loop and all everything. Okay, so I just want to store the square of all the values starting from 1 to 10. Okay, so uske what I did, I defined a blank list. So this I have defined a blank list, right? There is something called square name I gave. Okay, and this is a blank list I defined, right? Now I ran a for loop. For loop. So to run a for loop, how do I give? For I in range of 11. So there is some one command called range. So what it does is it will start from 0 and it will go on till 1 minus of this number. So that is 10 in this case. And this I value, now what I'm doing is I'm simply appending it in this square. So if you see here, first of all, I'm printing this I and then I'm storing this value in square. And what I'm storing, square dot append. We just saw this append function. It will append it one by one. This I, whatever is the value, iska square I'm storing. So you want to check what it will give. So as soon as I run it, okay, so you see I kitni bar iterate hua? For I in range of 11, it started with 0 and it ended with 10. Okay. And if I check the square list mein, if you see, now it is not blank. Okay, now it has values starting from 0, then 1, then 2 ka square 4, 3 ka square 9, 10 ka square 100. So it has stored all this value. Okay, clear hai ye, what it does? So that's how you run a for loop. Don't worry about it. In tomorrow's class, we will learn in more detail. But I hope this simple example should be clear enough. Let me check if everything is fine, right? Yeah. Okay. So this is one way how you can use the list. And this is the, very common practical scenario that you want to store some information you have run in a loop. तो ये तो बहुत ज़्यादा use, like this function, this particular kind of function, I use it day in day out in my office work. ओके क्योंकि आपको लिस्ट क्रिएट करना पड़ता है, आपको कुछ ऑपरेशन परफॉर्म करने पड़ते हैं, देन यू हैव टू स्टोर इट. तो पहले मैं ब्लैंक लिस्ट देती हूँ, फिर आई रन इन अ लूप, आई रन सम ऑपरेशन एंड देन आई सिंपली अपेंड इट वन बाय वन एंड आई सेव दैट लिस्ट. So that is the typical use case, right? Now what list comprehension does is, what if I tell you मैं ये पूरा ऑपरेशन को एक सिंगल लाइन में कर सकती हूँ. How I can do it? Using list comprehensions. So अगर मैं इसको इस तरीके से डिफाइन करूं, and I'll tell you how it is does, right? तो आप देखोगे सेम आंसर आएगा. सेम आंसर आया, I mean because of course I have to run it till 11. तो you see सेम आंसर आया. And all I did is ये जो 3 लाइन का कोड था मैंने इसको 1 सिंगल लाइन में कर दिया. So these we call as list comprehension. So it comprehend your loops. तो अगर आप देखोगे लॉजिक इज एग्जैक्टली सेम, सिर्फ लिखने का तरीका है वो थोड़ा कॉम्पैक्ट है. तो इफ यू सी हियर व्हाट इज द वे, तो बेसिकली यहाँ भी मैंने फॉर लूप लिखा है, तो ये वाला लाइन बिल्कुल सेम है. फॉर आई इन रेंज ऑफ 11, सो इफ यू सी फॉर आई इन रेंज ऑफ 11, दिस इज एग्जैक्टली सेम, राइट? ऑल आई डिड इज जो मैंने ऑपरेशन यहाँ पर बताया था इसको, बस वो मैंने यहाँ बताया है. And instead of appending, since I have already given this in a list, it will know that it has to put that in a list. तो आपको append mention करने की जरूरत नहीं है. तो what it will do is one by one it will run a for loop and उस I पे ये operation perform करेगा square का and it will go on. Clear? So that's how we call it as list comprehension. तो आपको अलग से ऐसे 2-3 लाइन के कोड जो होते हैं वो 2-3 लाइन में लिखने की बजाय one single line you can simplify your code and it's easy to understand also. If you read it, you can, I think, I am sure that you may not be able to write it, but you will be able to understand it. So what it is doing, I का iterate कर रहा है 1 से लेके 10 तक and उस पे आप I का square कर रहे हो. So that's all, you are saving it over here. Clear? So these operation we call list comprehensions. So what it does is iterator for iterator in iterable. Okay, so many iterators, right? But I mean, I hope by this example things are clear to you. Okay, fine. So now just a quick summary. What are the major functions we have in list? We have append, we have count, extend, index, pop. Pop is something which we did not hear, but it is again like it is exactly same as remove. So it pops out. You just give the index and it will pop out that variable. Remove में आपको object देना पड़ता है, pop में आपको index देना पड़ता है. Out, you sort, it will sort it out. So you can sort your list also in ascending order or a descending order. Okay. Then you have list of the sequence converts a tuple into a list. So we will learn tuple, so that time things will be more clear, right? But you can convert anything, basically any sequence, into a list by just mentioning list at the front. Okay, quiz time. I hope you all are ready. Okay, suppose ये आपका list example है. If I ask you what is the length of this, come on, it should be very quick. Let me check in chat. Answer is 5. Okay, suppose this is the list. What is the max item? What is the max item in this? It might take time. Just see and tell me what it is. Sorry, there is some problem while switching the slides. Yeah. So C is the bigger one. Yes, 12454 is the biggest item. What is the minimum in this list? This should be quick. Minimum 1. Yes, it is right. 1. Then what is the sum of this list? 15. Yes, perfect. Let's go real -1 in this case. What is the last item? That is the -1, right? So what is the last item? 25. Yes, correct. Then suppose this is the list and you put the quotes like this, colon and -1. Then what will be the item? Yes. C. Some people say C. Why C? Let's see. C 25. No, there is a difference. Let's do this. Let's see what did you get. Okay, and first I gave was -1, so its answer will be 25. But when I will put a colon here, it has actually. So I think this was the question. Removed the last item. What it has given. Reverse के लिए तो you have to put 2 columns. So reverse is not true. But when you put 1 column only, इसका मतलब last item you don't have to include. Okay, so the answer is A. Answer is A in this case. Somehow the answer is wrong over here if it is the answer of this. I'm not sure. Okay. then you have this, what is the output when following code is executed? So this answer should be A. Yeah. So what is the output when following code is executed? Names, and then you have names -1 and then -1. What does it mean? So -1 is last item, that's Daman. Then Daman ka last item kya hai? And D. So I think the answer would be D of the last question maybe. Okay. Clear हुआ ये चीज? D था, yes. Oh, such a big code. You want to take some time and then switch. I will not speak. Just take some time. Okay. Or if it is too complicated, let's do one thing. Let's go one by one. Okay. Together we will do it. Try to solve it. ठीक है? क्योंकि और people voice is fluctuating. Okay. Is it better now? I hope it is better. Okay. Let's try to solve it together. ठीक है? So what it says is, सबसे पहले names है आपका, right? So names 2 equal to names 1. So that is fine. Now names 2 and names 1 are equal and this is the list. Then again names 3 is something called names 1 ka full. So when you put this symbol, which means that it is entire list. So again all three lists are same. Now what I'm saying is, names का जो 2 में first place में अमीर से वो Alice हो गया, and जो names 3 है उसका ये बियर की जगह बॉब हो गया. So Amir is Alice and beer है वो Bob है. Now sum equal to 0. That's fine. Now what we are doing is ls in this list, right? So we are running a for loop जिसमें कि ls एक बार name 1 होगा, name 2 होगा, name 3 होगा, right? And then we are printing ls. Okay, let's do one thing. It is actually a little bit complicated. Let's try to do it in Python only. Okay, then we will understand what it is doing. तो मैंने सबसे पहले define किया ये सारा चीजें, okay, and then let's print what is names 1, comma names 2, comma names 3. ठीक है, तो ये हो गया, right? तो names 1 और क्या बोलते हैं names 2 ये है, right? Alice हो गया है, names 1 is this, right? Names 2 मेरा Alice हो गया and names 3 था वो Bob हो गया. Okay, cool. Now one thing I would like to highlight over here is, अगर आपने देखा होगा names 1 and names 2 दोनों बराबर है, ठीक है? Ideally it should not be the case, क्योंकि पहले ये लोग बराबर थे, बट मैंने जब names 2 में 0 किया तो 2 में मैंने Alice से रिप्लेस किया था, बट इफ यू सी names 1 में भी Alice से रिप्लेस हो गया. Why? Because you assigned here equal. तो यहाँ पे जब आप equal assign कर देते हो तो you have to remember this one thing, whenever you are assigning with the equal assignment, तो no matter what आप अगर 2 में ऑपरेशन परफॉर्म करो 1 में भी वो ऑटोमेटिकली हो जाएगा. That is the property of equal. Okay, but if you observe names 3 के केस में ये नहीं हुआ. names 3 में मैंने Bob दिया था, right? एंड तो नेम्स 3 में तो बॉब आया, बट नेम 1 में बॉब चेंज नहीं हुआ, नेम 1 में बियर ही रहा. वाई? क्योंकि आपने यहाँ पर इस तरीके से दिया था, कोलन्स दिए थे. तो व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस ऑफ दीज टू असाइनमेंट इज, अगर आप डायरेक्टली ऐसे असाइन कर दोगे, sorry, I think I by default I switched into Hindi, I apologize. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is these are two different kind of assignments over here. With this kind of assignment, when you are directly assigning something to equal to something else, no matter whatever operations you perform in this names 2, it will be done on names 1 also by default. So that's why you are seeing here names 1 and names 2 are exactly same. However, if you assign something like that, like giving a colon when you are putting the list, so that you are assigning कि only values are getting assigned. तो क्योंकि ये values है, like if I print this like this ना, so these are values, these are not the actual named one list. This is the value and you are saying only values are getting assigned, not the variable, and that's why names one में there are no changes whatever you are doing
Neha ma'am, actually voice is breaking.
I can see the value as 12. Now what is actually doing is let's try to understand. Okay, so for one by one what it does, first go to this list. Okay, names one list, right? Now it's zero position पे Alice है, so first position पे Alice है, इसका मतलब it will go here. तो sum started with 0, right? Then it will check if first place, I mean second place पे Bob है या नहीं, तो it is wrong, it has not done. So now that's why you are seeing that your sum is 1 only, right? Now let's do one thing. मैं आपको सेम यहाँ पर एक प्रिंट कर लेती हूँ ताकि आपको जितनी add होता जा रहा है, you will see how this 12 number are coming. I have to assign some equal to 0 over here. add कर दिया, that's why answer 24 हो गया. So we assigned it now back to 12. Only this condition was true, so that's why it was 1, right? Now it went to names 2. So in names 2 again, names 2 में भी Alice है, तो yes it will go here. तो वो 2 हुआ. So that's why you are seeing 2 हुआ, right? उसके बाद क्या हुआ? यहाँ पे फिर से उसने चेक किया कि बॉब है क्या, तो इट इज रॉन्ग, बॉब नहीं है. देन इट वेंट टू नेम्स 3, और नेम्स 3 में इट चेक कि वेदर इट देयर इज एलिस, सो नो देयर इज नो एलिस, बट यस देयर इज बॉब ऑन सेकंड प्लेस, तो इट वेंट देयर, देन इट एडेड डायरेक्टली 10. तो इसलिए मेरा 10 में 2 में ऐड हुआ तो कितना हो गया 12. सो दैट्स व्हाई योर आंसर इज 12 एंड दैट्स व्हाट यू आर सीइंग हियर. क्लियर कैसे वो फोर लूप में जाता है? इफ एल्स अगर आप नहीं समझे हो दैट इज फाइन, वी आर going to discuss that tomorrow, but these I hope this thing should be clear. So just check for this condition. If this condition is true, then only it will go in this index line जो indentation के संग line है, otherwise it will move on to this line. So that's why this follows this order. Okay, any question in this? I hope this is clear now, right? Yeah, sorry, I apologize already. I know, I mean, as I said right yesterday, I by mistake, without realizing, I switched to Hindi. So I will repeat again, no problem. So as you saw here, right? So first, I'll start again from here. So we learned two things in this case. So the first thing is, I have this list, right? Now there are two ways to assign this list to a new variable. Either I can assign it to a new variable like this. So in this case, what will happen is I am assigning the entire list to this. So whatever operation I will perform in 2, it will be done in 1 automatically. Okay, but let's say if I want to assign only values, I want to make sure that whatever a new variable operation I will do, it should not happen on the old variable, then you should follow this assignment. You should assign only values, not the entire variable. Okay, this is variable assignment, this is value assignment. So you should always do value assignment until unless, because that is the purpose, right? We assign into a new variable because we don't want to modify this, right? So actually this kind of assignment only you should always do. Okay, so as you can see here, I made changes in two variable, and it because I assigned the one variable into two, so by default it happened in one also. So that's why you are seeing these two are same, but in three, whatever changes I did, it did not happen in one. So that's why third is different. Okay, clear? So that was one thing. Now let's understand this loop, what it is doing. So what we are doing here is we are going one by one. So what this means is this variable, you can give it any name, right? So this variable, it is going one by one in this list, right? So first, this variable is names one. So we printed the name one. So you print name one is this. Now we are checking in this name one, what is there at the index 0. Okay, so this condition we are checking. If first place of the name one is Alice, so yes, it is Alice, it is true. So it will go and do this operation, right? So it will do this operation, which means that it will add 1 to 0. So now your sum value of sum will be 1, right? Now it will read this line. It will check whether the second place of name one is Bob. So it is not, right? It is beer. So this is wrong. So it won't go here. So that's the reason you saw that your value of sum will be 1 only at this line, right? Because it did not edit 10 because this condition was wrong. After doing this one time, it will go, because it's a loop, right? It has to do it 3 times for names 1, names 2, and names 3, right? Now it will go for the names 2. Again in names 2, it will print name 2. So name 2 is same as name 1. This is the name 2, right? Again it will check this condition. So here check that it is true. If it is true, then again it added one more value. So now it is 2 over here. It added one more. Then again this value it checked, it was wrong, because again name 2 is also beer, not Bob. That's why you see it did not perform this, and at this printing it has 2 value. Okay, then it went to third, name 3. In name 3 it printed name 3. Here it checked whether the first place is Alice. So no, it is not, it is Amir, right? So that's why it did not went into this line, but then it read this line. So the second place is Bob. It is correct in this case, right? Second place is Bob over here in third list. So that's why it added 10 over here. So it executed this line. So always remember, if this condition is true, whatever is written along with if this is true, then only it will go in this line, otherwise it won't. Okay, so that's why it executed this line. So it added 10 to 2. So now the number became 12. That's why if you see, the final value is 12. Is it clear now? I have already explained twice, right? Okay. Perfect. Let's go back to the quiz. So the answer is 12 over here. Okay, then you can do this, uh, smaller than and greater than operations also. So what will be the answer over here? Any idea? True, false? Nope. Let me see if you guys have answered. True, false, false. Let's see. Let's have a look, right? Because it do element wise. Okay. So let's say, let me try it here only. List 1 is this and list 2 was here 2, right? And then I was saying, what was the question? List 1 is this, list 2 is this. And then I was saying list 1 is smaller than list 2. So it is false. Okay, why? Because 1 has 23 and here it is 2. If I do other way around, it will be true. So it does element wise, it checks element wise. So let's do one thing. Let me do 23 over here. Let's see. Now it has become false, right? Because now things have become uh, equal. Okay, because here if you see, not this one will be false and neither of this, right? So that's what it does. So list of the elements are compared 1 to 1. Okay, so it will comparing 11 to 11, 2 to 2, and then 23 to 2. So we know that 23 is bigger, and that's the reason it will be taking that as false. Okay, and to add a new element to a list, we use which command? Add, append, add last, add end. What is the command to add a new element? It is append. Okay, similarly if want to is insert, so this is same thing, right? Insert 5 to the third position. So which command is true, A or B? Or I mean, which one is true? So you have to insert fifth value at the third position. So that this is the command, right? A is the command. Okay. Now I think this is the not the last one, but yeah, this is also again a complicated one. Let's try to do it together, because these are having for loop and if loop, right? And that's the reason I'm just taking it slow. Okay. Sorry. So what is the code when this following code is executed? Okay, let's try to do it in Python, right? Mm-hmm. I think this is a typo. This is the code only we are looking for. The other thing is typo. You guys are here, right? Yeah. Okay. So what I wanted to print was, what was the questions? Actually, this one let me remove. This is copy pasted from the previous ones. So yeah, index of max we want to print, right? So it is 1. Now let's try to understand what it is doing. Okay. So this is my list. Now what I'm saying is, what is the maximum of my list? Right? So let's see this is the max value I'm giving of my list. Okay, this is some variable I'm assigning. So what is this my list is? It is actually a 1, right? So this is 1. So I have given a max value of 1, right? Now index of max is 0. This also I have assigned. Now what I'm doing is, I want to iterate in my list starting from 1. Okay, not 0, because if you don't give this, it will be starting from 0. But since you have tell that you have to start with 0 and end at length of my of list. So what is length of my list? It is 6. Okay, so it has to iterate from 1 to 6. So let me print I, so that it is clear to you what is going on in I. Okay, so then what I'm doing is, agar if my list ka value, whatever index it has, right, if it is greater than this max value, right, then you replace it with max. Okay, and then you make this index of max equal to I. Otherwise you keep it as it is. So let's see. Okay, let's see it one by one. So what happened is, in case of 1, what happened, that at 1, what is the value? My list I is 5, right? So which means that it will go within this. Okay, so let me do one thing. Let me print max also. So then that way things would be more clear, right? So let me print my name, so that there is a delimiter. Okay, so now what happened is, first of all, we ran a for loop, right? So it started with 1. So that's why you are seeing printing of I is 1, right? Then you check this condition. My list of my list of 1 is what? 5, right? My list of 1 is 5. If 5 is greater than 1, so because max value was 1, right? If 5 is greater than 1, then only it will go to the in this loop. So yes, it is true. So then it will go in this loop. So then what is your max value? It is actually 5 now, right? Because it has assigned 5 here. Then it will print Neha. That's why you're seeing printing Neha, and that's why you print max. So you print, you saw this is the value max. And then what is the index of max is I, that is 1, correct? Now again it will run the second loop. Second loop mein what it will do is print I equal to 2, right? Now what is I equal to 2 is again 5. But tell me one thing, now your value of max has been changed. Now it is 5. So what this condition is, if 5 is greater than 5. So this condition is never true. This condition is wrong. So 5 is never, if agar yahan equal hota, if there has been equal, then this condition might have true. But it is greater than 5, so it is wrong. That's why it is not going further. That's why you are not seeing my name printed after this. Okay, and that's the reason it has, after that any of the loop, you saw it, there is no number which is greater than 5, and that's the reason it is not going inside. Let me do one thing. Let me change this one variable to 15. Okay, then you will show the result. Then you see after this it has went at fourth place, it has went inside, because at fourth place this number is greater than 5. So that's why it has gone inside this, and that's why you are again seeing my name printed over here. You are seeing maximum value 15 over here, and the index of max, if you see, it will be 4. So actually this is a function to find the max value. So but again, I mean, as I said, right, this is, so that's how actually some people write that when you run directly, right? I mean, if I want, I can directly get the maximum value of this list. How? Just simply put max function and put this list. It will tell you, the maximum value. Here it has given error. Just give me a moment. Uh, just give me a moment, because again there was some syntax error. Just now we saw, right? What is the maximum value? Yeah. So we have to give the max value. Ideally it should have worked, but there is some problems. I define the list and then max of a. So int object is not callable. Oh, I think, okay, got it. So math.max I have to do. Okay. You know what is the problem over here? Because I use this max function now. I use this max function over here. Actually, this is wrong. You should not be using, because if you see, this is showing you in a green color. So the assigning this variable is wrong, and that's why now this 6 is not working, because earlier it was a function for Python, but now we have overwritten this function with that integer, and that's why it is telling that integer is not callable. Okay, because we define it wrong. We should not use a function name to a variable. If I would have given max 1 and max 1 over here, things would have that error I would not be getting. Okay, so that was the problem. But what I was trying to say is, this is the function to find a maximum value from the list. So this is already somebody has wrote and put that in a max function, which you can simply call it like that. So if I just refresh everything, right, and run this, it will run. Okay, you can try it out at your own. It will run. If I just simply refresh all the memory and try it again after reopening the notebook, it would run. Okay, cool, fine. Let's go to the last section quickly. So about the tuples, right? So we learned about list, right? Then what are the tuples, right? So tuples are also very much similar to list items only. The only major difference, as I told you, that tuples are not mutable. Okay, these are the sequence just like list. The main difference between the two is that it cannot be mutable. So with the index, you cannot assign a new value. Okay, that is the only difference. So if this is the tuple, and the difference between the tuple and list is, list you give square brackets and tuple you give this round brackets. So that's how you give the different data frames. So as you can see, if you do type of this tub1 variable, it is tuple. Okay, it is a mutable list, and empty tuple is written as two parentheses with empty values. So you can define like that a empty tuple, and yes, then likewise you can give the value in that, right? Accessing tuples, it's exactly same as indexes. So you can access this with index like 0, 1, 2, 3. Likewise, you can, simply print it. All the operations which you saw in list are doable over here. Only the immutable ones, like just make it, you can change the list items, right? Only those operation will not work here. Otherwise, rest of the things can work. Okay, like addition can work, multiplication can work, right? All these things can work. Updating tuples, like it is not possible. These are immutable, which means that you cannot update or change the value of the tuple. You can save it in a new tuple. So if you really want to save something after addition, you save it to a new tuple. You cannot assign it to the same tuple again. Okay, you are able to take portion of the existing tuple to create new tuples on the following example. So for example, here we saw this tuple 1 and tuple 2, right? Let's say if I try to do this, right, it won't work. So let's try quickly. I hope you guys are connected. Okay. Yeah. So I'm just checking in between because I don't realize whenever I lost you, right? So I don't know that. So this is the tuple, right? Let's say if tuple 1, I am replacing it with some other value 100. It won't work because it will give you tuple object does not support item assignment. Okay. Similarly, you can create a new tuple. So that's what I'm saying. If you really want to do something, you can assign it to a new tuple. So for example, you can add two tuples and assign it to a new tuple, right? Tup2 you can give, and similarly, sorry. So you can add two and just okay, deleting tuples. So unlike list, tuples cannot be deleted. It's an error. So you cannot delete a tuple, right? So I mean, you have to either remove that from your system or remove that from your code if you really want to delete something, but you cannot delete it from the memory. Okay, you have to restart your session if you really want to, if you don't want to work with the tuple. You can indexes you can use for the tuple. You can use the count index and count works in case of tuple. Also, in case of max, min, list, all this length, max, min, list tuple also. So if you really want to convert a tuple into a list, all you have to do is just give list to something. You can do that by converting into a list. Topic of for today's session, that is dictionary, things, list. Now this is the last dictionary. Okay, so what is dictionary? So in these kind of shells, what happens? Each shelf has a unique number, right? And the locker room, right? You have a locker room, so only one lock. And as soon as you insert that key, you find your values inside it. Correct? So these two words are you as a part of dictionary, key and value. So a dictionary is an associative array. So it's an associative array. Okay. Any key of the dictionary is associated to a value. The value of a dictionary can be any Python data. So dictionary are unordered key value pairs. So to here again, it like list, there is no restriction that you should always use one kind of data. No, it can be of any length. It can be of any data type. And that's the beauty, and that's why dictionary are associative. It can be of almost any Python type, almost usually numbers or string or any length also. There is no restriction on length also. Okay, dictionary are enclosed by curly braces. We will see how do we define dictionary. Okay, so these are enclosed by curly braces, and values can be assigned and accessed through the square brackets. Each key is separated from its value by the colon. and the items are separated by commas, and the whole thing is enclosed in curly braces. We will see this as we saw the example, right? An empty dictionary will be like this. Like empty list may you give square brackets, empty tuple may you give round brackets. Similarly, for empty dictionary, you give curly braces. And dictionary are mutable. Okay, let's see some of the examples for dictionary. So like this. So how do you define dictionary? I have given a variable called dictionary by giving curly braces, and then I have to define a key, right? I have to give a specific key, that is Jack. So Jack and Jill, whatever I have given in quotes, right? Those are key. And what is the value of these keys are this. So whatever you put after colon, that is the value of that key. Okay. So this is what I was telling you, that dictionary mein there are two items, key and pairs, key and value. So these two pairs work. So for each key you can have a value. So for that you have to give these colon as a key pair, right? So we will see more examples, and I hope it will be more clear. Okay. So these are the, I mean, that's how you define the dictionary. Now deletion of dictionary, again it is very easy. You just use delete dictionary. Either you can delete the entire dictionary, or you can delete the key, or you can just use the dict.clear also. So you can do all of these things if you want to delete the dictionary. Okay. If you really want to access only keys, you can simply do dictionary.keys. You will see what are all the key items are there. You can do the items to check what is there in the key value pair, and dictionary values to return the dictionary of the key. Okay, let's do this, then I think things will be more clear. Okay, let's check this out in Python itself. So this is how I have defined the dictionary. Curly braces, these are the keys and these are the values. Okay, so if I do d dot keys, so you see what are the dictionary keys? Spam, X, and cheese. Okay. If I do d dot items, dictionary items, it has printed the entire values. Again, values are 1, 2, 3. So these 1, 2, 3 are values. Now here, instead of just one single number, I could have had an entire list also. Okay, and this would remain same. This would work. Values will change. So now ek ka value hua this. Now let's say if so how this work is, so basically let's say if I want to access that what is the value of egg, what I can do is I can do simply d, put a square bracket. So you can think like these are the indexes, right? These are the indexes like we have in list, right? So यहाँ पर index नहीं है, there is no index for dictionary. For list, I use square bracket and put an index, right? Similarly here, I give square bracket and put this keys. So X, if I want to access, I can access it like that. So you can think of like exactly like list, just that in list you use index for to get some certain value. Here you are using particular value. Okay. Fine. Then you have this, you can merge two dictionaries. So simply D, by this symbol, you can merge these two dictionary. So you can see like all these two dictionaries are merged now. Okay. I mean, it's very simple, right? So as you can see here, let's do a quick quiz over here, right? So if you, let's say if you want to create a dictionary, so what is the right way? So this is the way you can create an empty dictionary, which is fine. Let's say if you want to define it like that, right? You can do it. So this is the correct answer actually here, because your key has to be in quotes. So key has to be in quotes, then you put colon and then you give the value. So that is the correct way to define dictionary. Here the wrong statement was key was not in quotes. So that was the problem over here. Okay. Similarly, read the code shown before carefully, pick out the keys. तो इसमें क्या keys होंगे? Right? John and Peter are the key. So B is the correct answer. John and Peter are the key, and 40 and 45 are the values. So what will be the output over here? So you can check. So let's check this, right? If you want to see, let's do that quickly in Python. So this operation can also work over here. So it is true, right? Because there is John in D. Similarly, if I do John 1 in D, it will be false because there is no key. So by default, it searches in keys only. Okay. Then you can check whether it is equal or not, right? So these two things, let's see if this, what does it give you? So how it checks, right? So it is false because you have different values, right, Peter? And so as soon as if I make this, so your key and value pair has to be exactly same, then only it will be true. Similarly, you can print a list of D keys, right? So keys are John and Peter, right? So you can print the list of this. So the right answer would be B, not B, sorry. Our right answer would be A, because D ka keys kya hai? John and Peter, and then you have converted into a list. So this is the list, right? So that is what will be your answer. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So few more questions left. Okay, so suppose you have this, John and Peter. What happens when you are trying to retrieving a value, right? So let's say if you are trying to retrieve a value with Susan, do you find Susan in this list? No, right? So it will give you a error. Okay, it will give you a key error actually because there is no key named Susan. So the error would be, since Susan is not in a value, sorry, not this is the wrong answer. It is not in a value. No, it is not in a key. Okay, so since Susan is not a key in the set, Python raises a key error expansion. So the answer is C. Okay, simply आपके पास ये एक A dictionary है, and if you really want to delete it, you can delete it like that, and it will be deleting the, what it will do? Will it delete the value in the dictionary? Will it delete the entire dictionary, or it will delete the keys? So if you are doing like that, it will delete the entire dictionary. So C is the right answer. Then you have to define a blank list. So now what will be the thing? Because it is mutable, right? So the last line will be considered and length of the test will be 0. Okay. Then you have this, right? Output of the snip code. What will be the output here? So you I have defined all these dictionary. Then you have assigned these numbers, right? Let's do it in Python real quick because we are running slightly over time. So that's why I'm just going over fast. Okay. So what it did here is, first of all, I assigned a blank dictionary, right? Then what I did, I assigned number 1, and that is the value of 56. So that's why I'm defining the dictionary, right? 1 is the key pair, and then this is the 56 value. Similarly, 3 is the key and value is 7. So that's why it has assigned, this is the dictionary. Now I have got it. Similarly, letter 4, this is, I created a new command dictionary, right? So I created a new command dictionary, which is the combination of the two, and that is what it's showing here. Then it will print out the value. We have to go through the notebooks also. I will be taking up that tomorrow, because I feel now this is too much for you guys, okay, to process. I will start the session functions in details, right? How these things work. And then we'll. Okay, fine. Okay. There is a voice problem in between. So what I will do is, is it better now, or still there is some problem? Okay, I see. I mean, I stay in Bangalore, and there are a lot of thunderstorming going on. So there are a lot of fluctuation in network also. But still, I will try to make sure that I am. So I have connected to broadband already. But I'll see what I can do from my end because there is heavy rainfall. So maybe because of that, you might feel this up and downs. But I'll make sure that it doesn't happen. Okay. Okay. So are there any further doubts or questions from today's class? Okay, then thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your response, right? And I Yeah, PPT and all the things will be shared on the portal, on the LMS portal, right? At the beginning, Leela explained. So she can, you can get in touch with her for that. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Have a good day.